one Arabian fairy and 1,000 tales. Hello, my friends. I am Marwa, your storyteller, basket weaver, oriental dancer, painter, Arabic calligrapher, herbalist. In our world, no one is just one thing. So many plants will be guiding our story today. At the beginning of my videos, I introduce you to the themes that guide my journey. And each of these crafts and traditions holds a piece of my history, my culture, and my heart. Today, I want to take you deeper into one of these worlds, starting with herbalism, an art that has been with me since childhood. Around the time I was born, my dad planted a jacaranda tree, and as I grew, so did she, and there is a picture of us standing together. Until today, my dad is still obsessed with this tree. He loves jacarandas so much that now he's nurturing 50 to 60 seedlings at once. These trees bloom with the most breathtaking purple flowers, and when they are in season, the sight is spellbinding, almost like stepping into a dream. Growing up with a jacaranda tree, I spent countless hours outdoors, exploring our garden, and I was fascinated by every plant and flower I could find. I would cut them, crush them, and mix them with water, trying to create perfumes that even if they didn't smell great, it felt magical because I made them myself. And I remember the thrill of sneaking alcohol from our home pharmacy to add to my mixtures, convinced that it would make my concoctions more professional. These early experiments were my first steps into a world of plants and their hidden power. At home, we had a book that always caught my eye. Food, Not Medicine. It taught that our diet wasn't just a matter of taste, but a foundation of health. The book's message aligned with how my parents and grandparents lived, a life where plants were the medicine, and this belief was woven into everything we did. My grandma, for instance, would give us olive oil for almost every ailment. This wasn't just any olive oil. It came from my grandpa's beloved olive grove. He poured his heart into those trees, and that oil was more than food. It was a legacy of love and care. I grew up drinking lemon balm, chamomile, and thyme tea. Each herb held its own power, a healing energy passed down through generations. Most of the time, if we felt sick, the remedy came from nature, a tea, an oil, or a handmade mixture. But life took me on a detour when I moved to Beirut. The city's fast-paced rhythm swept me up. Fast food, quick fixes, drifting away from the wholesome lifestyle I'd grown up with. Things began to change in ways I hadn't anticipated. After the war in Syria, my father could no longer visit or tend to the land in the mountains where he had nurtured cherry, apple, fig, and grape trees. I remember picking the fruit straight from the branches, each one so fresh and delicious. But the land became part of a dangerous zone, and eventually he had to sell it. Around the same time, my uncle also sold the olive land after my grandfather passed away. These losses were like fractures in my connection to the land I'd grown up with. Those losses lingered with me, becoming a quiet ache. that eventually pulled me back towards nature. By 2017, I moved away from the city, settling into a place closer to the plants that once filled my childhood. Suddenly, I remembered how deeply I cared for each leaf and each flower. I found myself surrounded by these quiet living beings that purified my spirit and added a sense of peace. There was a carob tree, kharub, right next to the house, and I became enchanted by this tree. It felt like an awakening, like reconnecting with old friends. Around the same time, I found two books that would become my companions on this journey: the Encyclopedia of Medicinal Herbs and Illustrated Flora of Lebanon. I would pore over these pages, learning to identify each plant, their names, and their characteristics. It was deeply fulfilling, feeding a part of my soul that had been starved for too long. I began working at a forest school. It was an unusual job, a far cry from anything I had done before, but I was thrilled by the opportunity. As a full-time educator, I spent my days immersed in the forest. We were guiding children through its wonders year-round. We would sing, tell stories, and explore nature together, rain or shine. This was when journaling about plants became a requirement. We were encouraged to keep a plant journal, to learn more about the environment around us. And I took this request to heart. Every detail I noticed, every plant I encountered went into my journal, and soon journaling became an obsession I couldn't let go of. Sharing my discoveries with the children became one of the greatest joys. I would eagerly tell them about the plants we came across, passing on what I had learned from my books and experiences. And being part of this community was transformative, deepening my connection to nature and to those around me. I also crossed paths with vibrant agricultural communities in Lebanon dedicated to permaculture, community gardens, and sustainable farming. It was inspiring to see people come together to collect native seeds and share knowledge on nurturing the land in ways that respect its natural cycles. Their commitment to reconnecting with the earth and cultivating it responsibly gave me hope for a healthier, more sustainable future. My love for herbalism grew stronger, particularly for its medicinal aspect. Friends and family would mention to me their ailments, and I would dive into my books searching for remedies. In those moments, I felt like an ancient healer, connecting to a timeless wisdom. I began experimenting with making herbal waters. I even experimented with making pine needles water, naming it Forest in the Bottle, for the deep, refreshing scent it carried, like stepping into a pine forest. My experiments took me to crafting my own salves as well. Each blend was a gentle healing ritual. One salve for wounds, another for moisturizing, one a natural deodorant. Mixing and measuring, sourcing the perfect beeswax, and finding the right plants. It was a soothing and grounding process. I loved every step, from soaking plants in oils to melting and blending ingredients. There was a certain magic in each creation, a piece of nature preserved in every jar, similar to the experience I had when I was a child. To end our time together today, I would like to share with you a piece of my recent work in a series I called The Herbalist, inspired by the miniature painting style of our ancestors. This series has become a way for me to blend my love for storytelling with my art. And recently I held my first exhibition where I showcased these pieces. Creating these paintings allows me to connect images and narratives. And today I want to show you one special painting, The Herbalist, painted with watercolors, earth pigments, and gold on cotton paper. It reflects my journey with herbs, crafted in the traditional miniature style. Alongside this painting, I have written a small poem I would like to share with you. A little genie stirs inside, scattering leaves and petals in the wind. She appears when I need her most, a silent guide through the seasons. Her voice as ancient as my father's garden, as familiar as my grandma's hands. I find myself in the stories of those who came before me, listening as if hearing the earth for the very first time. This story is a tribute to my grandmother on my father's side, who passed away last night. You are going to be deeply missed. We were so blessed to have you as our grandmother, and we will miss your presence and your warmth. Thank you for everything, Teta. Until next time, so much love to all.